Greetings and God bless. I have been reviewing interesting post that Sayer G from GMedInfo pointed out that people should not be reduced to their injection status. And I think that's a good point. It's sort of like in the 80s and 90s when that big HIV AIDS epidemic was happening, and it was illegal to, number one, ask people what their status was, even though people were breaking the law, I think. Because, like, I've had HIV tests done on me without telling. Like, I have chronic Lyme, so I asked, hey, can we do a Lyme test? And they did a HIV test instead. And without asking anything about my personal history, and without my consent. So doctors, big doctors, because this was Providence. So that's a big one on the West Coast. So, so the precedent is to avoid discriminating based on somebody's medical status or whatever. And of course, that's been happening. People have been breaking that law because people are discriminating on the basis of, like, if you're white, or if you're heterosexual, or if you're Christian. That's the new discrimination. That's the new segregation. And it is interesting. It reminds me of from that movie All of Me with what's her name? Tyler, Lily Tyler, I think, and Steve Martin. I can't remember her name, but where this is this really rich lady, and she wants her soul to go into somebody else's, and so, but he's like this insurance guy, and he was saying how that he, if he could have been rich, or if his family could have been rich, they would have if they had the opportunity. And that's what has been apparent to me, like those that are in these activist groups, they are totally willing to do what the oppressors have done, like what the activist groups that have become like a mafia. They want to do exactly what the worst of oppressors have done. And is that right? It's not. So people should, they should, like, this is the United States of America, and it's 2021. We know better than to discriminate uh, in such a way. Like, let's look at your medical status, even questionable medical status, but nonetheless, like, this is a free country. It is not a, in our Constitution, it doesn't say people who have never had the plague get to be free. People who have never had leprosy get to be free here. No, it was free for all medical statuses. And then, okay, so if we're going to be, for those who are using this glamour magic of suffocating, self-suffocation, like, what I don't understand is the person has a pet, and they pet their pet. The pet isn't wearing a full body suit. And wildlife, wildlife is visiting everybody's home. A bird, or a stray cat or a squirrel or something like that. And of course, it's utterly ridiculous to be masking somebody's dogs and cats, even though I have seen that when I mean, and I don't know if it was stock photo material, but from the past. But I saw that when the Wuhan event was going on. So I'm sure even the person that's the biggest masker and pro injection person would say, yeah, no, we're not going to mask the squirrels and the pigeons and whatnot. Um, and just know, wildlife is a big vector of infections, uh, many infections. It's called co-infections of Lyme disease. There's like thousands of infections you can get because, of wildlife. I love wildlife. I think wildlife is great, and it is our job to be healthy. Um, so anyways, I just want to, you know, put this point out there, just to show how fake the current narrative has been. And yeah, so thank you for listening.